Pull it together. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of More to the Story. I am Farron Moore, and this my first, I think, maybe my first time kind of being like not even having a guest fill in for Tahir. I don't know. It's been a long 2 years, y'all. But yes, I am here today with this fucking queen I just met.
Hi.
Ooh, F words early in. But it's Amber Wallin, y'all.
Hey, everybody. We live. That's wonderful.
Yes.
I
This
love a
is
live
live for
moment.
our Patreon. Just
Got
our
it.
Patreon. Yeah, they already know who you are. So Amber,
Hi,
yes.
everybody. Oh,
Yes.
that's so exciting. See, y'all okay, because the episodes, I got you. Okay, we good. Hey, everybody. Good morning.
You good?
I'm so good. Well, could you just say you were like, the episode comes out later, and then you were like, hey, y'all. I was like, oh, not an audience.
Patreon always gets it early.
That's
and
good.
then we usually if Tahir's not here because he's like usually in flight or something, he's not even able to post the Patreon link most of the time. So the
Right.
episodes I do by myself, Patreon don't usually get.
But they here.
But yes,
They
so I'm
showed up.
happy he
Hey,
was
y'all.
able to get to it today. And thank y'all for pulling up. Fucking Patreon. But anyway, Amber Wallin, y'all. Let me just bring up just real quick how we met. I can't even really say how we met because the project is still in progress, but we were competing.
We were competitors. We started as enemies. We friends now.
But yes, we were working on a project together, pulled up on set, met for the first time, and just hit it off. Her and Ben. Yo, you have to, what is your TikTok, Burr_I_am?
Yeah, Burr I am.
Burr I am, yes.
Yeah.
So just looking at you and Ben's just energy, like how he's like always so just like quiet and chill, and you're like
on 10. Yes.
10. It's like they are so cute, but also I bet they be wanting to kill each other sometimes.
Correct. Yes.
Watching the videos, I have a better understanding of how we met. When it rolls out, it'll make sense.
Right. Well, see, I'm on 10, but also if you spend more than 5 minutes with Ben, you're like, I kind of see why she on 10 a little bit. Because he's kind of a weirdo in that way, which I love.
Yes.
But he's not as innocent as he pretends to be sometimes. Yes.
Yo, the him doing his a day in the life of a house dad.
Yeah.
And he called Wild badass, like, with her badass or something like that. And I was like, yo, you never hear that, especially not on social media nowadays. People tiptoe around that type of stuff, especially like, oh, don't call her bad. You're in the house with her and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, shut up.
I'm sure there's a think piece on one of the posts somewhere. I haven't seen it. I make a point to hide myself from it. I'm like, I put the art out there. Y'all can critique it how y'all want.
Really?
But I'm on to the next video. I have to.
So you don't even get into the weeds on your comments or anything?
No, I used to at the very beginning. Well, like I've been creating for 20 years. Maybe about 3 years ago, I would look at them, and then I would see hundreds of positive things, and one little thing would irk me the rest of the day. One little inaccurate comment would irk me the rest of the day. So now I either don't read any comments, or I find 5 that are super supportive. That's the delusion,
Yeah.
I find 5 that are really supportive, and then I'm like, oh, well, 5 people love me. That's all I need to hear from today.
Yo,
yes.
Look. That makes sense, because having that one negative thing like ruin your whole situation, and then that'll end up being the only thing you respond to. You're getting all this love and you respond to the one negative thing.
Yeah, and it's a comedy page. So comedy is relative to where you are in your life. Maybe if you're not a parent, calling a kid bad is like, well, this isn't comedy for me, because or it just depends on where you are. So and then, how comedy gets. I'm sure y'all get the same thing. It's like, this is for funsies, y'all.
Oh, absolutely. And I it was even more hilarious hearing him call her that being a white person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's still weird. Even
I
when
was
he
like
raises his voice to her, I'm like, "You're talking to a little black girl now." Like, he's like, "That's my child too." I was like, "I know, but it let me yell it to her or whatever." But I gotta get over that. I have to get over that. But there is something sometimes,
Uh-huh,
especially where her hair is all over the place. And
uh-huh.
he's like, "Ah, ah." And I'm like, "No, hold on now." It feels like a stranger yelling at your child, but it's not
What
because it's her daddy,
that's
right?
wow.
Just a
The
little bit.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that because I wonder, like, if those things go through the minds of people in, what's the word? Interracial
Right.
relationships, and I'm like, "Man, what are those, like, those little nuances, or what are those conversations or those thoughts that you can't feed into, but that, like, you still have?" So you're like, "Yo, that's a little black girl, like, chill."
Right. He's like, "But it's a little white girl too." So I can get I'm just like,
I'm yelling at the white side.
right, right. But he kinda he should every now and especially if she's getting into
Yes.
something, but yeah,
Yeah.
I still have to sometimes be like, "Oh, wait, yeah, that is your baby too."
Yes.
But I think it's like that if you carried a baby and somebody
Mhm.
else is yelling at your baby, whether it be your grandmama, your auntie, you'd
Yes.
be like,
Yo,
"That
I
my baby."
remember, seeing my mom pop my daughter
Yeah, what did
when
that do to you? Ooh.
I was so upset, and then
Yeah.
what she did it over, I was like, "I'll kill you. Get my
Right.
baby."
Oh, yeah. So what did she pop your daughter over?
So, she, she, like, I think I know for a fact it was just a reflex from my
Of
mom.
course.
So it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm going to walk over to her." My daughter was standing in her lap, and she had crouched down, and then she bounced up really fast and, like, grazed my mom's face, and so my mom tapped her leg, and I was like, "Did you just hit my
Yeah.
baby?"
Yeah, like, "Mom, that was an accident. Now chill."
Right. Like, you do you that was a whole ass baby in your lap. You didn't expect
Correct.
it to move a
That's what
little bit?
babies do. Yeah,
Get
how
my
did you
baby.
respond? Yeah, right.
And
"Well,
she
we
was in
gonna go and get
church.
out of here,
Go up.
mama."
Right. She was at church too. Go up to the altar. Get my baby.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that's a little weird. I mean, not because I think people's initial response to that is like, "This generation is so sensitive," but it's like, "Nah, it's just my baby." Like, it
right.
ain't even this generation. I'm just not used to somebody else disciplining my child in that way,
Yeah,
namely
yeah.
my mama. So it's like, see, what we gonna do? But hopefully
Yes.
y'all maybe, I don't know. Did you have a conversation about
Oh,
it
no.
or you just like, let's just go?
Yes, and you know what? I've said before, like, Val was very much a shoot first, ask questions later type person. So her first response to a lot of things were like anger or violence.
Yeah.
I saw my mama fight a lot
Wow.
when I was a kid. So it was like, and it was her siblings mostly too. That's hilarious. But
Interesting.
it was a lot of them. They fought all the time. But
Like physical fights?
some did it, yeah.
You saw that in your adult age as well?
No, I think like this is hilarious. The last oh shit, if this my mom wasn't involved in this one, but my one of her brothers and one of her sisters got into a fight at my grandmother's 80th birthday party.
Okay, so grandma was 80, which means they were maybe 50s to 60s, late 50s,
Um
60s.
yeah, late 40s to 50s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fighting at
Fighting.
at at
Fighting.
at 45
Full
plus?
full on
Were
fighting.
they sore
My
the next
uncle
day?
listen, my uncle, he climbed over someone's car to get to her. Like, that's the level.
And it was girls and boys fighting? Women men and women? Oh my gosh.
Oh my
What?
god. Why we talking about this?
Right, right. Okay, first of all, invite me to the next,
She's like, "I
family
just
so
wanna"
so I can put my phone
she
up and
gonna have a
record.
plate.
Right.
We
Not
gonna
Zeus
bring
Network.
a whole
Yes.
tripod and just set her phone up and just stand there and eat.
Jesus. I mean, if I stand up too fast, my check engine light is on. So I can't imagine fighting at age 50 with my fingers.
Check in.
my
Yo, check engine.
yes, my neck would hurt. Like just like one punch, right?
Right?
But to each his own, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. I've never because had gotten so used to it,
Yeah.
I've never even really thought about it that
As being
hard.
strange. Like,
Yes.
people don't be fighting like well, I don't know. Let me speak for my family. Maybe now they might throw some shady comments.
Mhm,
It'll definitely get shady boots,
mhm.
but nobody's gonna stand up and it's not gonna be Floyd Mayweather. No, absolutely not.
So, before we jump into the top, how long I need to know this, 'cause how long you been doing the content thing? What did you do before that led to it?
Right. So I for the first I was in Chicago for the past decade. So the
Mhm,
first 5 years there, I was actually a high school teacher. So I couldn't really do the content as big as I wanted to.
mm,
So I started making some semblance of content, I would say about 7 years ago
mhm.
on Snapchat. I would just do like, nobody cares about this, but this is where I'm going today, just in case y'all do care.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously those stories would disappear in 24 hours.
Mhm.
And people would be like, you should just do the same thing on Instagram as those started getting more popular.
Oh,
So
okay.
then I started Instagram stories, 24-hour cycle as well. But that is when I started to meet Ben because I started doing content before I met Ben.
Mhm.
And so if you were a follower of mine early on Instagram, you kind of saw the like
Oh, the
going on a date with
whole
this dude, who knows? Just a
yeah.
little bit of like, oh, it's working out. So I would say altogether about 7 years, but you know how these apps go. First you'll be on Snapchat and then Instagram. And
Mm.
then when the pandemic hit, everybody was like, you gotta do the TikTok
TikTok,
thing.
yeah.
To which I was like, I am 30 plus. Like what would I have? I don't dance, I don't do trends. What would I have to offer
Uh-huh.
TikTok? They're like, just do exactly what you're doing here, but it can all live on a page on TikTok because this was before Instagram Reels. Instagram
Oh,
Reels is
okay.
still relatively
Yeah.
new with like
Oh,
within the
is
last
it?
year or so.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
Instagram used to just be pictures because I think
you
they were trying
sure
to be
right.
right because Instagram was trying to do Facebook less. So it was like let's make Instagram so you can just like pictures, so you can just scroll, and then eventually Instagram added videos.
Oh,
So
okay.
so altogether about 7 years, but it went from Snapchat to Instagram to TikTok, and now I do a little bit of YouTube as well, but mostly TikTok and Instagram are my two faves.
Oh, okay. Cu Stop with the text messages.
It's from the party. They
Girl.
like, where my keys, girl? Have you seen my
Right,
stuff?
right. Have you seen my shoes? Um, okay. So you were a teacher, you said high school, what subject?
I so for the first 2 years, I was a special education teacher in high school, but I was the co-teacher for geometry.
Okay.
So I co-taught geometry for 2 years, and then I talked to the principal. I was like, "I can teach geometry, like, general education if y'all need an extra geometry teacher on staff."
Mhm.
So then I taught geometry, general education. Of course, I still had students who had, IEPs and things like that, but I was a geometry person.
Yo,
Mhm.
I'm sitting here like, how it's so specific. She was like,
Yes.
not just math, I want shapes.
Yes, shapes and angles. Yeah, I actually like I know people go back and forth about, like, which one they like best, but I wasn't a big algebra person. I could do
Mhm,
algebra, but
mhm.
I love geometry. I love shapes and
Really?
making it fun because that was I
Mhm.
don't know how much learning was going on in my class, but if we needed
Br
like a step to memorize the formulas and stuff,
uh-huh.
I was that teacher for sure.
Oh, wow. So you in there
Mhm.
creating songs and stuff with the class. Aw.
Absolutely, like, fun games, fun songs, like, you could it was a very strict school, so I kinda made my own rules in the class because we had, like, a demerit system, and at one point,
Mhm,
I was like, "If you get X amount of points on a test, I'm going to give y'all demerit erasers." So if I give you a demerit or, like,
mhm.
a something, you can erase it, you can
Right.
redeem that eraser for doing something, to
Right.
which, one day my principal was like, "You can't
You
do
do
that." 'Cause they trying to use these erasers in other folks' classes. You
and it's
you
like
cannot do
this
that, but I was like, "But the test scores went up, did they not?
right,
So what you want me to do?"
right.
So eventually I was like, "I love entertaining these kids so much that I
Mhm.
need to really just lean into that being what I wanna do full time."
Dope. So you just always just been a creative
Oh,
and
yeah.
so dope.
I was the little girl who was, like, at my parents' dinner parties being like, well, we putting on a show tonight, me and all the kids," and they'd be like, "We just trying to eat with our friends, but
N
go ahead,
Not you was
Amber." I
on your
was that
Beyonce.
oh,
Did you sell tickets
absolutely.
too?
Oh, I didn't do them like that. but they were gonna listen to like act one, intermission, act two of whatever I created. And after I taught high school in Chicago, I started doing like some more theatrical stuff there with Second City and some of the other
Mhm.
comedy clubs in Chicago.
Oh, okay, dope. Give me one second. I had
No,
wrote
you all
notes
good.
and I just remember I'm over here trying to put my phone away, but I should probably keep this out.
I told you they looking
Ooh.
for their shoes. Hey, Patreon.
Oh, okay. So, oh my God. You are an AKA.
Right.
And I say oh my God because everyone I talk to who tries to like plug me into a sorority, I never pledged.
Right, right, right.
But when they do, they always go Delta
Yeah, I can see
to me.
that.
See, even you, and it's so funny because some of my biggest women influences were AKAs.
Yeah.
And so I grew up just around them, like my teachers who led like the whole little black, what is it? Black Student Alliance group
Mhm.
in high school were AKAs. I had one of my high school boyfriends. We were together for 2 years. His mom and damn near all his aunts were
Gotcha.
AKAs. Like
It's so
that's
funny because
all
I
I
was
had
like,
around me.
you saying that first, I was like, "Oh, is he in AK?" I was like, "Go off, go
Like,
off."
no, so
Gotcha.
that's
His
all
mother.
his
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. You were like, "One of my old boyfriends." I was like, "Yes." Which, I mean, we live, you know?
Right, but
That's
no,
awesome.
just I was
Yeah.
just around all these women who were so when I went to college, I was like, "Oh, if I'm going to do anything," and then I
Right.
ended up, choosing not to at all,
Of course.
and now
Yeah.
whenever I talk to somebody, they're like, "Yeah, but you should have been a Delta," and I'm like,
See, they like to
"I
put
don't."
those labels on people,
I'm like,
but it's
"So
I
what would you
think
say the difference is in the character?"
I feel okay, so if we're talking like what the stereotype is, I
Mhm,
think the biggest stereotype for AKA is like a little bougie, a little snuck up, a little classy energy.
mhm,
And then I think, because we have to like pit these two against each
mhm,
other, the alternative to that is like a Delta is a little bit more down to earth.
mm,
She's like the fellas rock with her, the girls rock with her. She's a little bit, less high strung. And I think while I don't feel like my go-to personality is down to earth, I think I can be very, like, warm and nurturing in the
mhm,
ways that people think a stereotypical Delta would. But
mhm.
I have tons of Delta friends who are as stuck up as I am or whatever, 'cause so you but
Yeah,
when it comes to the yard, there's a level of, like, showmanship and performance that people wanna see.
mhm,
So you kinda gotta lean into, like,
yeah.
"Yeah, we're cute, we're classy, we got our makeup and whatever," and then, after the step shows, we was all just smoking weed together or whatever, like, it's you want some
Yeah.
theatrics
Uh-huh.
at the step show and stuff. So I kinda like those boxes, but it's all kinda made up. Like, we definitely in college, there was this one, Delta, I talk about her all the time, her name is Chandra, at I went to University of Georgia.
Mhm,
So, for step shows, all the AKAs, we would get sew-ins because
mhm.
you need a little hair,
Right,
you gotta
right.
feed into this, like, "We're
Uh-huh.
prissy missy," but this one Delta, her name was Chandra, she did all our sew-ins. So she would be doing our
Oh,
sew-ins, like, the night
really?
before, she could do hair, she was a great job, and then the
Yes.
next day on the yard, we were all, like, pretend like we hated each other. Yeah, and, like,
That's
just
cute.
doing our hair, her face. Meanwhile,
Right,
Chandra just did all of our hair last night.
right,
So,
right.
but it was like, theatrics and stuff like that.
Oh, cutesy cute, cute. See, I'm a college dropout,
Yes.
so
I mean, look,
I
I'm not
was
using my degree right now, not in that kind of study.
what I was going for, it has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. So it
Correct.
was like, why would I keep going?
Yeah.
But oh shoot.
I feel
I
like unless you're like a doctor or a lawyer, you're maybe probably not using your degree. Maybe.
right?
I could be wrong, but like those are the only ones like I needed to go to med school. I needed to pass the bar. But everyone else is like, I
Just
majored in econ and now I'm a nurse. Like it's all over the place a little bit.
yeah, and I feel like the whole so many people I've met who are working in film or behind the scenes and stuff or have engineering degrees and or something
Right.
that had nothing to do with what they're doing, but
Yeah.
it's like the same thought process has to be used, but the actual what I learned to attain this degree, I ain't using that shit.
Right. I feel like also as we evolve as a society, the majors will change. Like,
Mhm.
I could totally see in 2 or 3 years there being
Yes.
an influencer major or something, because that didn't exist because the
Or
internet didn't
it
exist
at
or
least be
whatever.
like under I don't even see why that wouldn't go under marketing somehow.
Marketing,
Marketing is going to
yeah.
explode even more because it did once
Right.
Mad Men came out.
Yes,
Everybody wanted
yes.
to work in
Right. Isn't
marketing.
that sad how influenced we are by like,
But
"Oh, look at this
think
show.
about it
I should
because
be"
with
yeah.
CSI, everybody wanted to be in forensics and
Right,
stuff, and it's
right.
like,
How to Get Away with Murder. You're like, "I should
right,
do that." Yeah.
right. So yeah, I can definitely see that. I want to jump into these
You got some questions.
convo cards. I picked them at random, so good
Okay.
luck to you.
Ooh, that's it's called extreme personal questions. Okay. Not my breast cup. What we got here?
Okay. Oh, get it. So it's two questions. I'll give you the option of which one you want to answer. So, what other nope, there's no other players here. We can't use that one. Okay. What is the most inappropriate experience you have had with a coworker and or what has been your most embarrassing in-store purchase ever?
Okay, let's start with the coworker. I y'all sound off. We've all slept with a coworker, but this one was bad. This one was inappropriate because he had a live-in girlfriend at the time. I
Mm.
know. I'm a
Did
whore.
she work there too?
No, she did not work at the
Okay,
school.
what to
She did
say?
not work there. I have never met her. To this day, she might not exist. Of course, there's been pictures of them or whatever, but
Mhm.
when I first started teaching at that high school, I was probably like 21, 22. And
Ooh, it's
this
another teacher, y'all.
yes, of course. Oh, let me be the first to
Is
tell
that a
y'all.
thing? Like the teachers be fucking each other,
Teachers
right?
be fucking each other
Okay.
because we're the only ones with that same schedule. We're
Y
the only like after
yeah.
a long day with the kids, what do we all do? Go to happy hour, things like that. Teachers be fucking other teachers. Let me specify what I'm talking about right now. So this person, he would always hit the bar with us. He would be flirting with me. I would flirt with him.
Mhm.
So he wasn't moving like he had
Yeah.
a live-in girlfriend, and he would even come to my house sometimes. I'm just kind of like, I ain't met her. I'm young 20s, but that
Yeah.
would be the most inappropriate relationship that I've
Okay.
had with
Oh,
somebody.
so you knew about the girlfriend. You're just like, "You don't
Yeah, but
move?"
yeah, I'm 22 years old.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
stressed out too. Like we're all stressed.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry to that woman. I think they're married now. They have a baby. It's great.
Oh, well,
I wasn't the only one he was
congratulations.
sleeping with either, but ever happiness
Congratulations
to
on
the
that.
happy couple,
Right.
right? I mean, what y'all want me? Cause you can't tell her, right? I don't
No.
know her.
Yeah, you definitely those people who be like, I want to tell you that I'm sleeping with but like don't be
Yeah,
that
it wasn't a lot.
person.
It was probably like once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's don't be that person. Now, if you're a friend
Right.
and you see these things happening, but just on that woman to woman,
Yeah,
man
Barbara,
to
this is
man.
Shirley. She would have been like, "Who? What?" Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry, lady.
I I think did I share it on here or something else? I don't know. But the Barbara and Shirley, my stepmother is the Barbara in that song.
Oh,
Yes.
no wonder your mama popping people and fighting at the 80th birthday.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, interesting.
yes.
That's
Yes.
so
She
does
is
everybody
the
in the family just be like, "This is weird," or everybody's like, "Ah, it's been a couple years
because
now."
that is my that's my dad's wife and I in my adult life, I do not talk to them, so now
Mhm.
it's like, I don't care, I'll tell everybody. But, but growing up, it was like one of those things, like,
We
you
don't
talked
talk
about
about
it
Bruno,
quietly.
right.
Yes,
Dang.
you talk about it hush hush, so I found out in a very, like, eavesdropping on a conversation that was above my age at the time, and
Wow.
I was
So
like
were your parents married, but everybody knew they were together or something?
no, so, my parents were God, they dated through high school and everything, but they never were married, and then they split when I was Yeah, I was pretty young. Yeah, split when I was young.
Mm,
And he got married to Barbara. And
got it.
yeah, yes,
Dang, Papa
yes.
was a Rolling Stone.
He was because him and my mom didn't split till I was like 5, like officially split until I was like maybe 4 or 5. And I have a little sister that's 2 years younger than me by another woman. Papa
Wow.
was a whole ass Rolling Stone.
Right. Jeez, Dad.
But oh, one more, okay?
Okay.
Oh, what did I want to use
I
this?
loved it. Wait, what was that other question you had about the most ridiculous purchase?
In store, yes. You want to answer both? The
Um,
most
I gotta
ridiculous
sit on that because what's
in
ridiculous to
store.
me,
What's ridiculous to you?
I don't, I mean, ridiculous is okay. I'll say this. I've spent way too much money on a meal, but that I if I told my mama how much I spent on that meal, she would call that ridiculous.
And it was just for
And it was
you?
just for that, or like me and Ben.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we
Yeah.
really do too much when it comes to food.
I feel that because I'm
Yeah.
one of them people, like, I will look at a menu and it's like, if it was a way to just get like a handful of all the things I want, I would be
Right,
happy. But
right.
I can't. So I have to order all these
Yes, a
things
couple
because
entrees.
I want
Yes.
to taste everything. And then I'd be like, okay, I guess the rest is going home. Like,
Right, and then waiting by the mailbox for that check to come through, like, "Oof, I spent way too much
way
at
too
dinner last night. Where is the mailman right
much.
now?" Yes.
Not the mailman. You old
It's
school for
I
real.
know, I know. I've been 58 my whole life, yes.
Not 58. Okay, so these are the best self ones.
Okay. Best
And the
self.
best self, these are the this is an icebreaker starter pack. So these are like just general questions. It comes in 6 different categories and I'm picking from the random.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
I feel like you have an answer to this. What would your rap name be?
This is horrible, but not horrible. It's
You do
corny, it's
have a
corny, it's
you
corny.
I knew it. I was like, she
It would
has to
probably
have an answer
be
to this.
it would pro so, my name is Amber, and then online I go by, like, Burr I Am.
Uh-huh.
So, I would probably want to be, like, Burberry or, the Great Ambino is one I really tried to get people to call me in high school, but they was not rocking with it at all.
I wonder
So
why. Are you still married to that?
right, I think Ambino would go crazy. Well, if I also had the bars, but I don't have those
You
either.
don't.
So y'all let me know if
I,
y'all
I love so
like
you've given this some
Burberry
thought,
or
but you
yes.
don't even do rapping
No,
things.
no, no. We can't do it all. I can't. I cannot rap. I'm not cool enough to rap.
Me either.
There's a level of like
I've
cool and swagger. I'm
tried.
I'm like a musical theater kid. I don't.
Yo, I've tried. I think maybe the things that I be trying to do, I be trying to go too fast. I need to be like a slower rapper.
Oh yeah. There's
What's
pressure to go
Tahir's
fast too.
yes, what's one of Tahir's oh, Currency. He's a
Okay.
slower rapper. I need to find like a Currency flow if Imma do
Yeah.
this because me trying to go fast, it's like Imma stumble over
Right.
every word or
It's
you're
funny.
not
Like
gonna understand what I'm saying.
when did that even happen? Because if you listen to like Curtis Blow or something, they was
Yes.
going slow. You could hear every word.
And
And
telling
I was
like
like,
whole ass
I'm like,
beginning,
oh,
middle, and stories.
yes.
Like,
And now I listen to Little
yes.
Baby and I'm like, I guess it's going crazy. I don't know what's being said. I like the music, I like the
Mhm.
sound, but if you ask me like what the bar said, I cannot tell you.
Yes, I feel that. Okay, so I want to jump into our topic today a little bit cuz this is just questions I have. Let me make sure I ain't missing nothing. I can barely see. Okay. So you have your husband Ben refers to himself as a house dad.
Right.
But what was that transition like for y'all? Like he's a stay-at-home dad, y'all. But also a content creator.
Yeah.
But what was that transition like? Cause he was a teacher as well, right?
He was, yes.
Okay, what was that transition like for you even asking that or yeah, how did that come about?
Well, I'm a Black woman, so that was very hard to ask for help from anyone, and,
Mhm.
you're also you like it done a certain way. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So and I think I didn't realize all the ways I would do a task above and beyond. So, if I ask you to do the dishes, Ben's just gonna do the dishes, but what I'm really asking is for, like, a
Clean the
counter wipe
kitchen.
down, a kitchen.
Yes.
Right, so we would have some breakdowns in communication, or he would do it, and then he would watch me go over, and he's like, "Well, why didn't you just tell me to clean the kitchen?" I'm like, "It was implied."
Hide.
Yeah, right. So, it was a little bit of a transition, but I had to relinquish some of that control because he started house husbanding near the end of, my pregnancy. So, you've been pregnant before, you're like, "Oh, I physically cannot do
I
it, so I
can't.
have to outsource this to you, and
Yo.
however you do it is how I
It's
have to accept it."
right, right. Cause I can't step in. I mean, I couldn't even put lotion on my own feet for the past I
Can't
was
you can't stand up more than 5 to 10 minutes.
I
Yeah.
was like, "My feet are gross right now," and
Yes.
I had so
I
much leg
stink.
hair. So
Yes.
much.
Hair there, hair
Yo,
everywhere.
literally
Yes.
everywhere. I'm only bringing up the legs, but
They know.
only
Yep.
thing I could reach was these armpits, so just imagine what was happening under that stomach.
Right. Oh, man. Just filth, grit and grime. They should study that shit in labs. What was
Yo,
underneath
and
my body. Yes.
I don't did your neck get really dark when you were
At the
later in your
time, I didn't think
pregnancy?
it did, but right now I'm currently, editing a documentary. We took so much footage from the pregnancy, so I'm editing that into a documentary,
Uh-huh.
and my neck is black as hell. My
Yo!
neck was this microphone right here.
Yes!
Meanwhile, I'm doing videos like, "I don't know what the girls are talking about. My nose is still skinny. Girl, Jackson 5, black neck." It
Your
was
nose
bad.
was what?
Yes, I definitely like, looking at pictures of myself now versus then,
Uh-huh.
but when you're going through, you
Through it,
kinda
you
just
don't
don't see it
see it.
quite yet, and even
Yeah.
my grandma was like she would FaceTime me and be like, "Nah, you're not ugly enough yet. The baby ain't coming." I'm like, "What?
What?
What's go" our grandmas be having
Not ugly
that oh,
enough?
yeah, they'll tell you, they'll be like, "When you get extra ugly, that's when the baby's coming," and I'm like so near
Damn.
the end, I was like, "Oh, that's what she was talking
They
about right
literally
there."
suck your
Yep.
life force. Um, I'm sure y'all talked about it. How was it for him? How did he adapt?
I think there was a level of going from him teaching school
Mhm.
to being a full stay-at-home parent. It was an adjustment because school is so structured. You know what time you're supposed to get there. You know what time your 6 periods are. You
Mhm.
know when you're supposed to grade, and then you can go home.
Mhm.
Whereas he sort of at first definitely was looking at it like, well, I can wake up when I want. Well, I can do like as long as I get the tasks
Uh-huh.
done before the end of the day, I'm fine,
Right.
which is not okay with me. I was
I was
like,
about
I
to say that
said
drove you crazy, didn't
yeah, yeah,
it?
that's when my AKA started flaring up because I was like, "No, ma'am, you're not gonna be sleeping in till noon."
Not the
And I'm
AKA
still
flare
like,
up.
yes, because then I was like, well, the dog's gotta be walked, so that can't really be done whenever you want it to be.
Mhm.
Whereas now we're in a place where we wake up every day and have sort of like a business style, like, morning meeting of,
Mhm.
like, what are your outputs? What are mine? Like, ready, break. So,
Right.
it's been an adjustment and transition because
Uh-huh.
and the pandemic, I feel similarly was like that for a lot of people as well. It was
Mhm.
like I went from like, we go to work, we come home, and our home is sacred to now like,
Right.
we are here together
Good.
day in, day
Yes,
out.
and work is happening here.
Yes, and
Yes,
you're
and yeah.
loud. At the time, I was, like, trying to record auditions, but he was also teaching from home, so I
Mm.
could only do my auditions during his lunch break, and I was like, "This is" like, I'm grateful that I can still perform a little bit, but if I
Mhm.
don't get this take in between your lunch break, I can't submit this audition, so that took a little
Right.
bit of a transition.
I feel that. I definitely remember trying to work from home, having a bajillion meetings or phone calls, but then all they hear in the background is to hear just
Yes.
show after show, program after program. He just
Yes.
screaming at the
You're
thing
like, "Is
at his
somebody in your
computer
house?"
screen.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we in Chicago too, so don't let it be some sirens going off. I was like, "Well, there goes my career,"
Yeah.
and he back there loudly talking about, rocks and or whatever, because he taught, like, 6th grade science. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, Just hush for 2 seconds." So it's so much better now. We got a little bit of space, and now I
Mhm.
can, like, go to a friend's apartment to record something if I really, really need to.
Okay, dope. So we covered what that conversation looked like even walking into it. Well, no, just the situation that led to it. But what were some things that you went into it like, these are our bullet points, these are the things I want to accomplish? Or was it just a focus on helping you because you were pregnant and then taking care of the baby? Was there ever a plan for him to do content?
Yes and no. It's so interesting because it's always the thing that you don't think you're gonna pop off for is the thing you pop off for.
Mhm.
So you're like, here I am doing improv and voice lessons and auditions. And the white man walks by with a broom in the back of the video. Everybody's like, wait, go back. What's happening now? And I'm like, what you talking about, Ben? Don't nobody want to say Ben. I'm the star. I got the wigs. What? And he'll walk back through it. I'm like, apparently they want to talk to you. So let's go. So that kind of became more interesting than
Yeah.
my acting, which now I've fully like accepted. Definitely, I had a little bit of an ego about it at first. I'm like, ain't that about this white man just walking through my videos, and now that's all the people want. But now it's when we have those morning meetings,
Mhm.
we do a little bit of like, give me two things you're gonna do for the house today, and then let's talk about what we would create. So we have a podcast together. We do a little we try to get like at least 2 TikToks or Instagram posts a day out
Mhm.
there, whether it's like our individual interactions or just something with me. But there is a element of like he just kind of makes experiences better
Mhm.
in general. Like he
Yeah.
really does. Like he's funny. He's kind of a wild card with what he says. So he
Yes.
doesn't have to be a part of every single video, but it's like it's like when you eat a really good meal and you're like, you know who would enjoy that to hear. Like, you know who really
Yes.
enjoys like this specific flavor profile to hear. And I could
Yes.
already hear what to hear would say
Yeah.
based on that taste. So you're
Yeah.
like, so this food is good. And I can show this food and I can describe this food, but sometimes it makes it a
It's a
little
little
bit better when he's
yeah.
with me. Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love the
yeah.
way you put that. Y'all so cute, and I was dying looking at, I was checking out your page again just this morning,
Yeah.
but looking at the one where he brought you that damn coffee and with the heart, but he's like, "Yo, this looks like I was clapping your cheek."
Right.
I
We
was
can't
like,
never just have sex. It's gonna become a part of like
"Really?
it's gonna be thrown in my face later that day whenever I got an attitude. He's like, "That's not what you said last night." I'm
Really?"
like, I still need you to do the dishes, Ben. You can't just
Right.
drop that. But yes,
Yes.
he's kind of just funny in that way. So
Mhm.
even now, like every time we get into a fight, low key, we just make a video out of it and move on.
You know what? Yo, me and Tahir should do that. I feel like
Yes.
the videos will never stop. We invited this one of his sneaker connects to his birthday party yesterday, and
What
we're
is a
in the
sneaker
store.
connect? I'm not a sneakerhead, so give me the
So basically, it's somebody who like you can reach out to if there's a drop coming to see if it's coming to their store so that you can get it at retail as opposed to getting it resale. Because
that is
resale
next
is
level.
like way too much. And, with some of his connects, because there's multiple, with some of them, they're like
Multiple
they
sneaker
also
connects.
give him their store discount, their employee discount
Nice.
at whatever
Got
store
you.
as well. So it's like, I'm not just getting it for retail, I'm getting it first, getting it for a discount on the retail price.
Wow,
So
the sneaker game is serious.
yeah,
Okay, so
it is.
I
But we were
I'm
inviting him
afraid.
to a party, but then me and Tahir had, like, just a misunderstanding, and both of us was trying to, like, we were talking it out and just like, "Okay, I hear you, but what I'm saying is," and he's like, "No, I got you, but what I'm saying is," we're going back and forth, and oh boy
About the
was,
sneakers.
yes.
Oh, that's a classic video. Y'all definitely
And
gotta make that.
and the guy, he's sitting there, he was like, "Yeah, I don't think Imma make it tonight." And we was like, "Oh, no, this is normal.
Uh, this is normal. Yeah, just come
If
on
this
in. This
scares
is
you away, sir,
yeah.
you gonna be single for the rest of your
Oh,
life."
absolutely. Well, and I think sometimes, obviously, you don't have to show the world like every
No.
actual fight you
Yes.
have, but sometimes it really contextualizes it when or it allows you to zoom out as
Mhm.
a couple when it's like, was we just fighting about sneakers? Like,
Yes.
hold on for a minute,
Yes.
just a little bit,
It
right?
was something so damn simple. Okay. So with this whole house dad thing, because also being a black Black woman and a mama, period. Like you take it personal when your kid it leans more on someone else.
Right.
How is that for you? Is she a daddy's girl since he's at home with her
Yeah,
more?
it's so interesting because I think like I hate to describe it like this, but you know how like a kid will be excited to see like they did beat daddy. And you be like, and their mama like, little did you know,
Right,
he wasn't even texting me back to come see y'all. So
right.
it's funny how like Wyatt will spend all day with him and she kind of lights up when she sees me because
Uh-huh,
it's kind of like a bigger like he reads her every night.
uh-huh.
So if I'm reading tonight, it's about to be
So
a full
you get
spectacle.
that daddy's home energy
Yes, I
that
do. I do. I mean,
Me
she can't talk yet, but
yeah,
there is a
yeah.
level of like
Wow.
she's
She
kind of like a bobblehead when I come in the door.
Aw.
Or I also come back and I'm like, "Oh, your hair is just all over your head. Let me
Yeah.
come just let me comb your hair." So I'm not
She's
away
so
so
cute.
much. Thank you so
She is
much.
so cute.
She's a funny one.
And,
Nobody told
like
me it would be this fun. It's kind of fun.
it
I think the
is.
pregnancy was the worst part for me,
Yeah.
whereas I think I was told on the front end that postpartum would be the worst part, which I'm sure is different
Mm.
for different
It's
people,
different for
but the pregnancy was the worst part for me.
yeah, and it's so crazy because it was the pregnancy was the worst part for me because of, like, mentally.
Right.
I was not okay, but I
Yep.
was not in a safe space to talk to anybody. So
Mm.
I was like, "Man, I went through postpartum before I had the baby." Once the baby
Right.
was here,
I was in
I like
pre-postpartum. Right.
like, I
Yes.
felt more of a relief
Right.
once she was in my hands,
Yes.
but knowing that she was coming and stuff, like, my head was fucked up.
Correct.
But yeah,
Yeah,
did you
that's a
have
new level of
a
anxiety.
hard physical pregnancy? Was it hard on you?
I think it it had highs and lows,
Mhm.
but I think if you are ever pregnant, round about week 32, 35, like shit is not sweet. Like so that was what I was feeling. Or there's a level of rage and resentment that you have.
Impending doom.
Yes, yes, because you're watching him just get full hours of sleep every night, or you're
Mhm.
losing that like black girl superhero energy you used to have a little bit, and
Mhm.
you just start to get just so distant from who you used to be.
Mhm.
So I think that was really hard for me. So when I had her finally, it was a pretty traumatic birth as well. But when I had her finally, I was like, I got my body back. Do not touch me. Nobody asked for nothing from me. Like
Really?
I'm in, and Ben was like, I will hold this baby for 9, 10, 11, 10 months until
Uh-huh.
you are like back where you need to be. So
Aw.
that was really great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He like jumped into action, especially.
Oh,
I
that's
think it felt
dope.
more real than, because like when you're pregnant, like they see it, but they're like,
Yeah, it's not
it's not connecting.
right. It's super real for you because it's happening, like, to your body, but yeah, it
Yeah, but
takes
the
a
minute they
minute to
see the baby, yeah, they're like, oh, I need to step it up. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, what you mean?
Right, what you been thinking?
Yeah.
Um, so I have to say this because I'm thinking it, and so now it just gotta come out. Hey, do you ever do you ever find yourself thinking like, "Yo, I'm taking care of things and, like, I've helped make life cushy for this white man?"
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
I was trying to
Of
say it
course.
nicely.
I think we all look up one day and you're like, how did I get here? Especially when he's sleeping in. That's when I really have a
That's
get your ass
you
up.
know,
Right.
it was that comment that I was like, "She definitely think this. I just gotta
Yes.
find the right way to word it."
Right. Cause well, to be fair, he does help me with a lot of stuff as
Mhm.
far as editing and the fact that we don't have to put our child in daycare is
Huge
a
right, right.
huge money saver. There are definitely days, especially if he's like sleeping in or if I come home and the list of things he said he was gonna do are not done.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of like, my ancestors are rolling in their grave, watching me put this white man up in a townhouse in Hollywood while I'm out here just making it happen.
Right.
And those are the times I'm like, Ben, do you know like who gets to just be at home with their kid all day? Just hanging out, ain't gotta worry about money, ain't gotta
Uh-huh.
worry about stuff. But it's never on, and then he'll do something and be like, "But I made dinner, look." And I'm like, "Good." That's when the reparations part hits just a little bit. I'm like, "Yeah, go clean something.
Yo,
This is my house. This the big house, okay?
not the
You clean." Right.
that's you know what?
Yes.
That's probably what excited people seeing him walk behind you holding a broom. It's like,
Yeah,
wait,
push that broom
she
across the
just
floor, sir.
is
Right.
her maid a white man? Like
Yes. Well, and it's also so funny because even though our household dynamic feels so much like that, I
Mhm,
feel most households that I've walked into growing up, a woman ran the house. Even if the
mhm,
guy made more money,
mhm,
I feel like my parents have both worked their entire lives, but my mom also has like a PhD, and she even though her and my dad are like evenly yoked and things like that,
mhm,
I don't know, there's still a level of like this is my house
mhm.
energy. And
Yeah.
he's super like machismo and masculine and stuff like that too, but
Uh,
like if she cuts him a look, he's like, let me go on, detail the
yo.
car. You know, it's still a little bit of that happening.
Yeah.
And also I think outside of me and Ben's little ecosystem of our home, the world doesn't really see it that way. Like, I still like Ben can take Wild out all day, every day. And then I'll take her out, and sometimes people will assume that like I'm her nanny.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, this is so interesting. Like, if only you knew
Right.
he's actually low key the nanny. Like if we're walking together or whatever
Uh-huh.
like that. Or sometimes Ben will take her maybe 2 weeks ago. I took her to swim lessons instead of Ben.
Mhm.
And just somebody in this lobby was just like, and nannies, just make sure you never kiss on your babies, whatever, whatever. And he like looked right at me, and I was like, no, I'm not her nanny. I'm her mother. You know what I'm saying? So coming home to
Yeah.
Ben cleaning my house is like a little bit of poetic justice in that way. You know what I mean? Because the
Yes.
world does not see it like that. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, so it's just super impressive because Tahir and I talk about it, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, Farron, you finally have come out of your shell. You're
Good for
doing things."
you.
And he's like, "When you," he says, "when." But when you surpass me, he's like, I'm just riding your coattails. He was like, I want to be a kept man. And I was like, you
Yes.
know what? I would love that for you for a limited time.
Right. Well, it's it is a keptness. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I think we've been seeing a lot more examples of it than we think,
Uh-huh.
even sort of with this like resurgence of like the Rihanna ASAP
Hmm.
family right now. It's kind of like that. I think that cover brought it to the forefront, but I feel like Michelle Obama was always still kind of running the show a little bit. It's like,
Hmm.
you can run the country all you want, but this is my house, so you gonna
Right.
respect my house. There's an energy to that to it. So,
Hmm.
and when I'm doing the most, Ben is definitely like it might be hard to envision this happening, but Ben has his moments where he definitely like checks me. And
Oh.
he's like, I'm not your assistant. So you
He
gotta
seems
talk
like
to me
he does.
pretty. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he seems like he does that, but like in like a very comforting way
He
or a
does.
disarming way. It's like, you know what, I can't
Yes.
even get upset that you just basically told me no to what I
Yes.
asked you to do. I can't get upset
I
because
can't.
the way you said it. Like,
Sometimes he'll repeat back to me what I just said to him, because we're never like really mean with our words that way,
mhm,
but it'll just be like, I'm gonna say word for word what you just said to me.
mhm.
And I'm like, "That's wild." Like, "That's crazy." "I said that." He's like, "That is what you just said." I'm like, let's run it back. Let me actually like, get back into the bed, wake
Uh-huh.
back up, and start this again. You know what I
Aw,
mean? Just a little bit,
yes.
because there's a way to ask somebody to do something, and I think I have a tendency sometimes to be like, "Because last week you didn't do it, and then the week before that," and he's like, "Or you could just ask me to do it." You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yes, yes. Oh, I love that. That's right, man. Know your worth.
He's
He
very
said,
valuable. Don't tell him I
"Talk,
said it.
talk to me
Talk
nice."
to me nice now. So
Oh,
yeah, it's like it's so simple. It'll be like, you taking her to the museum today? Because last week you said you was going to the museum, and then I was editing, and you were here. Or he's like, let's try that again. I was like, can you take Wild to the museum today? He's like, from what time to what time? 12 to 3. I need my house from 12 to 3 to edit. He's like, I'll see you later. Like, you see the
is that
difference in
that?
it?
Yep,
Right.
yep.
So he's teaching me, I think kids really heighten how you talk to one another in a
Mhm.
way. Like, or any problem that you had is exacerbated by kids for sure.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Yes. I feel Like, cause I've just always wondered like what that looks like and what conversations have to be had. Was there something you wish you had known before you jumped into it, or something you didn't think about and you learned after you guys got started?
I guess I should have made him sign a prenup. I should have seen my worth at the time. But no, I think it's so funny because this is the dynamic now. But Ben and
Mhm,
I have been together for about 8 years.
mhm,
So for a couple years, there was a time where he was in grad school and I was fully supporting him financially while he finished school. And then when he finished school, he was making more money than me.
mhm,
And so then he was like, okay, why don't you leave teaching high school now and pursue your dream for
mhm.
acting? So it looks now like I've always been like big baller, shot caller, but there really kind of has
Oh,
been
there
like
been
a
you
back and
guys
forth. Yeah.
compliment and like supplement each other, like
Yes.
who when one needs to be lifted, the other one's there. That's
Yeah,
dope.
and in the way in the vein that Tahir said that to you, Ben is really he wants to be an author, a published
Mhm,
author, and a writer and things like that.
mhm.
So I feel very similarly. Like when Ben publishes his first book, he's actively writing every single day. He's always reading and
Oh,
researching.
really?
Yeah, yeah, he takes time to write every single day.
And is he
So
serious with music, or is that like a
he
hobby?
be he messes around the guitar, but I think I think if he had to pick something besides writing, he would lean into the music route for sure.
Oh, okay.
But there's a level of like he don't like staying up late, and musicians stay up late. You know, sometimes I feel that way about stand up. I'm like, if I really wanted this thing, I could probably do it, but grandma likes to be
I
in bed
was
at 8
definitely
p.m.
going to ask you, like,
Yeah.
have you done stand up yet?
I've done a little bit of stands
Uh-huh.
up in Chicago and it went well, but I would not call myself a stand up because
Okay.
and the internet's making it worse because now I see the audience and I can log off. Whereas stand up is like, no, we right here. What a next joke? Or they'll be
Right.
like, is this even a comedy show? What's going on? And that's when I'm like, see, this is why I like sketch or stuff like this, where
Uh-huh.
if you are getting dragged, you can protect yourself from it. But
Right.
I definitely think at some point in my life I'll jump back into stand up for sure.
Okay, dope. So what is next for you, Amber Wallin?
I am currently working on a documentary that really shares like a true, authentic, raw experience with pregnancy and how it's kind of like it's not no we're pregnant is this was a sort of a solo story of mine that I want to share
Mhm,
and how I navigated that with my support.
mhm.
But I am I have finished from the beginning of that through trimester 3. So it ain't much left to go. I got
So
labor and delivery and then a little bit of post.
you are actually editing yourself. You have a
Mhm.
background in it, or you just like, yo, I
No.
have a vision and only I can do it?
That's that part. I have definitely, outsourced, like, contemporaries and, like I have a video editor right now who I meet with maybe once every 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and I show her, like, the chunks that we've done, like, we have a meeting today, and so she like, I sit her the first, like, 30 minutes I've edited, and she gives me notes on that, but
Mhm.
it's mostly just all me. Mhm.
Oh, that is so dope. I
Yes,
can't
it's
wait
very
to see
emotional,
it. Like,
though.
are you gonna put it up on your YouTube or something?
I
What
think
you gonna
I'm
do?
gonna do some private screenings in LA just
Uh-huh,
to see audience response.
uh-huh.
And I don't know. I think I'm going to try to. This is like big dream stuff, but I'm starting to just claim a big dream now.
Yes.
I think I'm going to ask a couple of friends of mine who have worked in this space before how to submit it to festivals, and maybe
Okay.
if that works out. And but I'm gonna do all of that stuff. Probably share it. We have a Patreon as well. I'm probably share it with the patrons. So
Mhm.
do some virtual screenings, do some private screenings here, and then some festivals. Hopefully, somebody can be like, "Girl, this is motherfucking iMovie."
No,
What you
look,
know?
no, don't discount it and speak it into
Right?
existence. Like,
Yeah,
yo, that's dope.
yeah. And then after that, maybe I'll put it up on YouTube. But it's, I mean. It's not super gory, but there's like some real
No,
it's some
you
titties
said
in there, right?
yo, look, ain't no way. If a titty don't pop out,
It's
then
not even a
you
real
are you
pregnancy
even
journey.
really
You're not
right?
even pregnant if your titties ain't popping out, if your neck ain't black. What you doing?
Right. Like your
Yeah.
nose ain't wide. Like you ain't really out here.
That's so real though. Cause we've seen the like maternity shoot. We need to see the other side of it for sure.
Yes, yes. Like that shit was I remember having a whole ass meltdown with a 3-day old. and I was at home by myself, and I was just sitting there like, "This was stupid as fuck."
Yeah, like,
And that was my
I'm a
first
fucking idiot. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that
What's wrong
was
with me?
and I actually called to hear it, and I was like, "I feel stupid as fuck."
Yes. Like, why would I do this to
Like,
myself?
oh my god, I feel
Yes.
stupid, like, and now it's depending on me.
And then you feel guilty because you're like, wow, grandma has 6 of these motherfuckers. She's like, have
Yo,
6 like a real bitch. I'm like, no,
yo,
I can't do it like you, grandma. Yeah, I only got the
child.
one.
That's it. I have one. She'll be 18 this year. Just that one. But yo, oh, real quick, I have to know because I love Wild's name. How did we get there?
Okay, so we are big readers in our household. So I told Ben, the black person in me really wanted a little bit of alliteration with the WW of the last name.
Okay.
And I'll probably, if we have more kids, they'll probably all have
Oh,
W's too.
W's
You know
too.
how
Yeah.
niggas
Oh,
do.
you're one of those.
Yes, I want to not be, but I feel like I gotta stick with the theme
I
now.
grew up with a family. They were all
Yeah.
J's.
Oh no, my family is Amber, Aaron, and Alicia. We're
Really?
all A's. Yep. Because my dad's government name is Agita, so we all want to A's. But I think that her name. So one of our favorite authors is Oscar Wilde.
Oh.
Just humor and
Mhm.
poetry and just fun. So we wanted like Wild with the E on the end. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aw,
And then
I
her middle
like
name is Lynn. So if you say it fast and country, it sounds like Wild Lynn. Yeah.
yo, was that the
I was like, if
plan?
you ever want to be a drag queen, keep this name, sis. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I found
Wild.
out my mother-in-law's middle name was Lynn. And one day I was like, running through like
Mhm.
Wild and Wild, my mama's name is Marsha. I was like, Wild Marsha, that just don't
No.
sound like cause whatever name you put behind Wild sounds like Wild Farron. Like it sounds
Yeah.
like Farron is wild.
Right,
So
right.
Lynn was the only thing that kind of slapped a little bit.
Flowed,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And we gotta have a middle name.
Oh.
It's
You can't
definitely
be black
like
without a middle name. Sorry,
exactly.
y'all. Sound off if you don't have a middle name and you black. I'll give you a middle name.
The it like it
What's your middle name?
literally Patrice.
Patrice,
Yeah, like
Marche,
we have
Marsha,
to. Oh,
niggas,
Amber
Marsh,
Marche. What was your
Thomas,
Thomas? Amber
Wallin.
Marche
Yeah, yeah,
Thomas.
yeah. That's a lot.
Oh, do you hyphenate?
No, I
No,
just
you
go
just Wallin.
Wallin.
Okay.
Yeah, but when
Wallin,
somebody,
Wallin. That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, it sounds like the same when you say it too fast,
uh
but it's too late. It's
no,
already.
but it's still cute because yeah, it's still cute though. Wildin'. Wild Lynn. Wallin. I'm over here.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
but yes, so the documentary is What's Up Next, and you want to let us know where to find you? Spell out your handles and
Yes.
and the things.
Oh, okay. I have a couple things. So the documentary's coming. Stay
Uh-huh.
tuned on that.
Mhm.
Ben and I run a Black science fiction and fantasy podcast. I talk about the Black part of and Ben talks about the science fiction and fantasy. So that is called the Sci-Fi Sci podcast. So
Uh-huh.
the sci is like, because that's typically what I'm doing on the show. So the Sci-Fi Sci podcast, you can find us on Instagram and Apple Podcasts, all
Uh-huh.
of that kind of stuff.
Dope.
And Bert, I am for your neighborhood friendly laughs.
Wait, aren't you on Amp Radio too? Is that a regular thing?
Oh my gosh, that too. Yes.
See,
I'm
she out
on
here.
AMP.
She doing all the things. I want
I
y'all to know all the
know.
things because
Yes, I do AMP Radio. That's Bad Advice with Ambers. That's Tuesdays at 5 p.m.
Mhm.
PT, where people I theme the show and then they just call in the entire show. So
right.
I'll be like, tonight's theme is scammers. Have you been scammed? Maybe you a scammer. And people just call in. Yes.
Dope. Yeah, I saw that. First, I thought it was about scams. And then when
Right.
I saw another post about I was like, oh, we getting into all the things. I need to like log
Yes. It's themed every week. Next
Uh-huh.
week we're talking about how was your hoe phase? Was it
How
short?
was
Was it long?
Oh
Like
my
that
God.
season of your life? Or
Uh-huh.
did you never have a hoe phase?
You
What's
poor
going
thing
on?
if you
Yeah.
haven't.
Right. People haven't had, especially women,
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like shamed if we're having a hoe phase. But I'm like,
Yeah,
no, you gotta
especially
have
if
that.
we grew up in church or in the
Right.
South, which usually includes church. Yeah.
Right.
we miss out on our whole face. Well, I didn't miss out on
I
much.
didn't miss out, but I was quiet about it, whereas I'm
Right.
like meanwhile, my
Yeah.
my daddy over there talking to my brother about, like, "This how you do it, son." I'm like, "Not" like masturbating and stuff like that. Like, our
Yeah.
mamas wasn't having that conversation with us.
No.
No, not at all.
No. My mama was like, "If you're gonna let him do that to you, then at least make sure you get some out of it." And it's like, "That's all you're gonna
It's
give
like,
me?"
that's a little unclear.
That's
I need a little bit more clarity. What you talking about, mama?
what you talking about? But
Yes.
yeah, dope. So follow Amber on all the things and keep an eye out on how we met.
Yes.
Coming to
When
the
is
Kev
that
on
coming?
Stage Studios. I don't have the date yet,
Gotcha,
but
gotcha.
I
Okay,
do
cool.
know it's coming to Kev on Stage Studios
Perfect.
app.
Awesome.
So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And thank you so much
Thank you
for
for having
coming.
me.
Yes.
Hey, bye, Patreon. Thanks for putting up with me today.
And thanks for hanging in there, Patreon. I should have one more guest. We'll see in a second. But this has been another episode of More to the Story.
Look at me looking up. I'm like, where's the camera I need to be looking at?
I don't, we didn't
Thank you.
talk about none of that. We just been sitting here, all eye contact. We the
Right,
only people
right.
in the room.
That's how you know it's real.
Yes, another episode of More to the Story. I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.